Good evening, and thank you for joining me late night. I say late night because it's close to midnight now, and I appreciate you tuning in for another one of my many off-the-cuff recordings. I have given some thought today to what I wanted to discuss with you. The topic, really, but I don't know yet what I'm going to say. But this is about public displays of affection. I heard on the news today that someone proposed marriage to a woman on a plane and actually engaged the passengers in this plot to surprise this woman. And they all took pictures, they were all good sports, and that's nice, but I just think of that as a very private moment, and it could also be a very humiliating experience if the woman decides to say no. Or she may say yes under pressure and resent him and decide to say no later. So, not a good thing. I think that some expressions of affection in public are appropriate, actually somewhat heartwarming, but it can very easily become very creepy. Personally, I grew up in a household where a lot of affection wasn't shown, and I think that maybe a little bit more may have been a good thing, but I don't recall my father showing too much of affection to my mother. I mean, sometimes he would embrace her, you know, maybe give her a little peck on the mouth, and I think that was okay. But I mean, I've been in situations where I've observed people practically eating the face off of each other, and that's just really in poor taste. Expressions of affection are usually to be expected, like at an airport, you know, when you're saying goodbye to somebody and you're not going to see them again for a very long time, if ever. You know, or if you're welcoming somebody home, it can't be helped. If you love someone, you're going to want to embrace them. And if it's a romantic relationship, you're going to want to kiss them. But that prolonged, deep kissing where you're practically sweeping someone's tonsils clean with your tongue is just really nasty, in my opinion. And for me to hear kissing sounds makes me want to gag unless I'm the one making them. And if I am, there's only one other person that's going to be around, and that's the person that I'm involved in the kiss with. But I have been witness to some very hideous scenes. I was putting aside a bathhouse, because I did go to one of those one time. Never again. Well, I don't like to say never, but I have no immediate or future plans to ever return to one. That's not the best example, because pretty much everything goes in that type of setting. But even bars, nightclubs, people sometimes have too much to drink and get a little carried away. And I remember coming out of a restroom at a bar one time, and I saw someone on their knees, well, need I say more? I don't think so. But I did see that, and you know, it's not anything that I would ever do, and it's not anything that I could respect. But I'm beyond the point where I get really holier than thou and disgusted with people and wanting to call the cops and that sort of thing. I won't do that, but I just really wish people would behave a little bit more respectfully in this day of age where everybody has a camera and, anything can end up spread on social media. It's just more than ever. I mean, even when you couldn't do that, it was just really trashy, but more than ever, it's not something that should be done. Now, I remember last year, I met someone that I did talk about in one of my early recordings. I had said that he and I had met and had a falling out, and I didn't know if I'd ever hear from him again, and I haven't, and that's fine, not a problem. But when we first met, I've often said I'm really interested in making friends. But, if it develops into something more, hey, that's fine. This person was a little ahead of me. I was just really interested in getting to know one another. And there was a little hot spot of his place he'd like to hang out. And, he and I are from different generations. I did a lot of my growing up. I won't say when, but I am a Gen Xer. He's a millennial because he's in his late 20s. And so, I grew up at a different time where there wasn't the kind of openness that there is today. People are a little bit more free to be who they are and love who they are, who they want, I should say. So he and I would be in a bar and he would give me a kiss on the mouth. And a time or two, I just was like, oh, okay, but then I had to stop him because it just made me feel really uncomfortable. I mean, we didn't walk out and get bashed by anybody, but I just grew up with that mentality. You do that sort of thing and you are going to suffer the wrath of very homophobic people. So to this day, I just don't feel comfortable expressing that type of affection, and I don't think it would make a difference, really, whether it's a same-sex or opposite-sex relationship. I think, the peck on the mouth, I guess, is not such a bad thing, but again, coming from where I'm coming from, it makes me uncomfortable, and then I had to have an uncomfortable conversation with him because I had to try to help him understand why it bothers me, and he just didn't get it because he just didn't grow up that way. And I think it's great, that people can openly love who they want, but again, there's got to be limits. I know that a lot of people tend to meet in bars. They also meet through apps nowadays, and I talked about the apps in the past, and I had an interesting story come up. A friend of mine, he and I were traveling, and he has a habit, I think a lot of us have this habit, of logging into these apps when you're in a different part of town so you could view the people that are nearby in that part of town, and they could also see your profile, and that's what he did. And he had, I guess in his profile, designated himself as a top, and he got a message from a fellow top, and all this person had to say to him, well, I don't know what he had to say to him, but I know what he called him. I don't even remember if he showed me the message or not, but he called my friend a fat pig. All right. Actually, he didn't call him a pig. He actually used the F-bomb, but I ain't even going to say that. You get the point. All right. So he called him that. My friend's like, I don't even know why this person is contacting me. I mean, he and I are looking for the same thing. And I said, just ignore him. Or I had a little catty comeback that he could use if he'd like, but he chose not to say anything. And I said, that's just even better, to not say anything at all. But one thing that he didn't realize at the time, and neither did I had to actually think about what had happened for a while, is that a lot of these people on these apps, if they see you looking for what they are looking for, for. They are going to cock block you, okay? They're going to try to stop you from, you know, picking up somebody who they may be looking for. So this person probably had no animosity towards my friend. Maybe he didn't even think he was a fat pig, but he went ahead and said that because it's an effort to demoralize my friend, to drive him off the app so that he could continue searching without any competition or reduced competition. So, you know, I know there's a lot of nastiness going on in these apps, and, you know, I don't want you all to take it too personally. You know, like I said, everybody's on the hunt, and some people don't play fair. But if you know where people are coming from, you know, you'll be able to put things in the proper perspective and not be so bothered by it. So anyway, that was my point. I'm not a big fan of public displays of affection. They should be kept at a minimum. I don't think they should be suppressed. But, you know, coming from where I'm coming from and the type of upbringing I had, that's the way I am. That's the reason I am the way I am. And it's not necessarily a reflection of the other person or me being ashamed of the other person. So if you ever meet someone and they're a little embarrassed, don't take it personal. It may just be the way they grew up, particularly if they're, you know, a little older. And also don't let the people online bother you. Like I said, you know, they may be looking for what you're looking for and may want to just take you out of the picture. Nothing personal. All right, so as always, I thank you for listening. I thank you for watching. I thank you for agreeing with everything I'm saying. And if you don't agree, then I want you to continue watching. You watch, eventually you will. And that's all I have for today. Thank you for your time.